Professor Saleemul, I'm going to switch to you now. Thinking about all that's been shared here tonight so far, as well as all of your vast experience, how do the outputs and the way that current philanthropy defines impact affect the ability to deliver climate justice in your work and those around you? And please remember to briefly introduce yourself.
Great, thank you very much, Rachel Rose. So I'm Saleem. I'm the director of the International Center for Climate Change and Development at the Independent University Bangladesh. I'm a professor in my day job, but I have another credential in this context, which is one of the few people who's been to every single conference of parties that we've had so far. In fact, I started even before we had the conference of parties, when we had the negotiations for the UNFCCC. So I've been in this game for 30 years now. And so I guess that gives me some credentials in this arena. The point I'd like to share with you, and I'm doing this very much in a safe space with friends, is to take up the notion of climate justice. I don't like this term, all right? I prefer the term climate injustice, because to me, the climate change problem is a manifest injustice where rich people cause a problem, poor people are suffering because of that. That's not right. That's unjust, all right? And so anybody who claims to be philanthropy and climate justice, what are you going to do about that? That's my question. I made it to Nicola Sturgeon before COP26 in Glasgow, and I said, you have a fund called the Climate Justice Fund in Scotland. Why aren't you putting money in loss and damage for climate change? Because that is the cutting edge of climate injustice. Losses and damages suffered by poor people caused by rich people. And if you're not going to address that, you're not going to do anything about that, then you're not doing anything on climate justice as far as I'm concerned. You're just using the words, you're not addressing the elephant in the room. And she put in £1 million to start with. She gave £1 million afterwards. She's become a champion now. And she uses the words reparations, by the way. She doesn't use solidarity anymore. She says this Scotland became rich because of these emissions. We caused the problem. We acknowledge that problem. I'm willing to put some money, not a lot, some money, but more than everybody else. More than Boris Johnson, more than Angela Merkel, more than Joe Biden. They haven't put any money on the table yet. And today they're talking about a dialogue for 3 more years. They want to talk about it for 3 more years. They're not going to put a cent on the table. We're going to have to make them put a cent. And we want the philanthropies to help us do that. Thank you.